now. Okay, now we have that in the way, get that out of the way. Friends, welcome, welcome. It is Friday, and you know what that means. It means it's time to unravel the news with my buddy, Bruce Poppy. Let's get the show on the road. Bruce, welcome, welcome, welcome. So good to see you, my friend.
It's great to be seen.
You're not making a scene today. You're just wanting to be seen. I get it.
No, it's just been crazy insane as we're prepping for the event coming up in a couple of weeks, as we're, all these other different things we got going on. And it's been crazy. All kinds of new stuff popping off, disclosures, smoke and mirrors, distractions. We got the full gambit.
We're going to talk a lot about the disclosures today. We're going to talk a lot about the stories that have been popping all week and sort of a wrap up of that, and also some newer stuff that's popped off today, including a senator who's popped off. Oh, I shouldn't say it that way.
Well, depends on who you talk to. The World Economic Forum and the globalists are pushing forward with all of their Agenda 2030 plans in your local community. So, we're distracted by government shutdowns and indictments and impeachment, and yet they're still implementing 15-minute cities all over the planet.
Yep. We were having that conversation this morning around the breakfast table. Phoebe and I were talking about that, and it's like, honestly, it is frustrating. And then you listen to somebody like SGN who's saying this is the greatest time in the world to be alive. Things are changing. There's all this stuff in the background. But I think the frustration comes, and we've been talking about this for some time. This is not news, that we want to see some action. We want to see something happen. Just give us one piece for right now. We'd be happy. But you're right. It looks as if everything is moving along in the direction we don't want it to go. It looks like we're still on the bullet train toward communism. And right. That's not a fun place.
And I'm all about, I'm not trying to be a negative Nelly or, any fear porn or anything like that. But, there's just the reality of the situation. Yes, I agree with SG. It is the greatest time to be alive, to be able to participate and see and, make moves, put your imprint, if you will, on this whole, ascension thing that we're going through, this whole transformation of our entire humanity. It goes a lot deeper. We just, trying to scratch the surface here and looking at some of this new stuff, hoping to see or unlock or, see something moving in a positive direction. And it very rarely goes that way.
It does. And I think a lot of people are frustrated. And what happens when the frustration happens, and we're seeing it in our community, is people start fighting amongst each other, right? And that's a distraction that keeps us tied here rather than focus on the real issues, which are the guys who are pulling the wool over our eyes, and we're fighting at this level. And I get so frustrated, and certainly in our community, when I see that, and people look, this one's not good enough, or that one's not good enough, or this one's not telling the truth, or, oh, the intel they have is not right. Who cares? At the end of the day, who cares? Oh, 107 is this, and, Lewis said that, and I don't believe this, and I don't believe that. It's like we could tear this thing apart 50 ways to Sunday. It's a war. We have to always remember it's an information war primarily. It's not kinetic here yet, but it's kinetic in other parts of the world for sure. And, the information's coming at us, and some of it's going to be dead wrong. We've been wrong. And we correct ourselves when, we put information out there that turns out to be completely false or completely wrong. We didn't know. We do the best we can on a daily basis. As we are right here, what we're going to share with you today is what we believe to be the truth today. If something comes tomorrow and changes it, we'll come back and we'll say we're sorry. We got it wrong.
Right. We're just like everybody else out there. We're all trying to figure this whole thing out. If anybody says they got the answers, number one, they're full of shit, and they're, likely lying and like they have some other type of agenda. And that's, Lewis and I were talking earlier on the phone, and that's, a problem that we're seeing all over the place is, people have their own personal agendas rather than, I hate to, put labels on things, but the collective, consciousness, if you will, of us all moving in the same direction and getting some unity, because that's what's going to think one of the keys for us to be able to move this timeline forward and make the changes that are going to be lasting and impactful is some unity. When we can't agree on on whose intel, like you said, this guy's intel's bad, this person's controlled opposition, this thing. I was just before we came on, I was scrolling through Facebook, and Charlie Freak is at it again.
Oh no.
This post on Facebook was, I just don't know where to go with it. I mean, he's basically saying the guy who wrote, the James Bond stuff, he's got a resort or a compound in Jamaica called Goldeneye. And, Charlie seems to think that that's been the center of operations for all the white hat stuff, that we've been doing. And he goes on to say about how all the movies were, or comms and, all these different things. It's just, I don't have buy-in to that. That's just where I'm at. I mean, that might be true. Who knows? If I end up being true down the road, I'll be more than happy to eat some crow. But there's just so much that I see that is, fake, phony, and false, as Dave from X22 says, that you just gotta, that's why it's so important to be connected with God, source, creator, however you want to call it, to be able to get and use that discernment, that internal, clock, the internal guiding, your bullshit detector, get that thing operating so you can, go with where you feel led to go with your truth. There's so much different truth out there. Their truth isn't black and white. There's all kinds of shades of gray in between.
Yep, absolutely true. I want to let people know, because they do send us good information, Bruce, all week long. And I want to put up your email address and my email address and let people know how they can reach us, because they ask a lot. Yes.
Believe me, they'll let us know when something's wrong for sure.
They do. And, we got some feedback in the chat yesterday that there was a problem with, something we were doing on our video yesterday. And we got in there right away, and we're going to have it fixed and it won't happen again. And thank you very much for the feedback. How we improve is, you tell us what is great and tell us how we can improve. We love it. And, that gives us the opportunity to make the shows, every one of the shows, a little bit better. So I think we're going to get started today, Bruce. We're going to dig into the news a little bit here. Last Friday, it was all about illegal immigration. It was, the border wide open and seeing all those videos and seeing all these people coming up. There was a story yesterday in Gateway Pundits showing that this week alone, these white buses came up from the border. They open their doors, all the people get out, the buses drive off, people trying to figure out who's riding these buses. The drivers won't say, they close the door, they drive away. Who's paying for it? Well, obviously it's the government paying for it. And San Diego, all their homeless shelters are completely filled. They don't know where these people are going to go. So, the wave is in our backyard again, as it is with so many places around the country. You're seeing it in Florida. I know you talked about that last week as well. So I don't know. There's really no place in the United States where we're safe from this or immune from it, I should say. Not safe so much, but immune from it.
Nope. They say it all the time. I believe it's, every town is a border town.
Yep.
They're not just shipping these people. I saw a funny story. I can't remember exactly where I was just trying to refine it, but New York, Eric Adams and all those, they're out down there in Texas near the border handing out flyers to all the illegals, letting them know that going somewhere else is probably a better idea. So they're trying to dissuade the illegals that are coming across the border from coming to New York. So they're down there on a flyer handing out campaign to try to get the sanctuary city that is New York, or the sanctuary state. All these they're sanctuary cities and sanctuary states. Until you start loading them up with all the people seeking sanctuary, then we're like, wait, we were just kidding. We were really serious about that. Come on. So we can't deal with all these people. I mean, it's becoming it's something that's undeniable. It was a conspiracy theory, not long ago, that the border is open and all this stuff. You can still hear it, that whack job in the press room, and that evil minion Mayorkas. I mean, if anybody should be impeached and thrown away, it's that guy right there. The border is the more secure as ever been, and people trust your eyes. You can't deny it anymore. It's becoming it's a joke, and it's unfortunate that there's so many people are suffering, because of this this stuff. It's sad. And then so what is our recourse again? We always come back to that question. What is our recourse?
Yep. Yes, and I think you saw that story as well, Bruce. It's really fascinating. So they're saying the Department of Homeland Security was aware that a large population of migrants was preparing to cross the southern border months before a near-record number surged into the country this month, internal documents obtained by the Washington Free Beacon show, but appears to have taken no action to forestall the influx that has overwhelmed local officials across the United States. So you could see this wave, and we saw it because we saw the reporting on War Room, and Oscar Blue was down there, and Ben Berquam was down there, right? They were down there. They all went down to the Darien Gap, and they saw this happening. Yeah. The documents show that Mexican immigration authorities have seen a spike in apprehension since May, an indication that border crossings were likely to rise, and the federal agencies documented a large buildup of migrants on the Mexican side of the border at the beginning of September. We saw it. It was bubbling up. We saw, and there was nothing done. The White House, which has struggled office in January of 21, is pointing the finger at Republicans. It's Trump's fault, arguing that GOP lawmakers in Congress are responsible for the problem because they have stymied the president's proposals for immigration reform. How about we just follow the immigration laws already on the books?
There's plenty of them. We don't need any new laws. How about enforcing the ones that we already have?
Exactly.
That's just simple, the no-brainer type stuff. Doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure it out.
But it's always the Republicans. It's always Trump's fault. Yeah, no matter what.
100%. Yeah. But what we can see now, we're starting to see this bubble up as far as coming into the mainstream mainstream consciousness. But this has been going on for a long time over in Europe, right?
Yep.
And now Sweden, Sweden's calling out their National Guard and armed forces to help fight the control of gang violence from all the mass immigration that has taken place over the years over there in Europe. I mean, Europe is falling, or has fallen, really.
Yeah, we've got people who watch us in the UK, and I got a note this morning, and she was saying, is like, her son doesn't understand why she's watching our show because we're US based, but what's happening here is happening there in the UK and Ireland specifically. A lot of migration there. So the rest of this article, but them at odds with Democratic officials, as Democratic leaders in cities like Chicago and New York have struggled to deal with tens of thousands of new arrivals, which are forcing lawmakers there to consider sharp budget cuts to pay for housing and other social services. There's only so much money.
No, exactly. It's part of the plan. There is, it escapes me now. There is a Marxist type of plan that Obama started to put in place. They teach it in certain schools. It's called like the Cloven something method or some. I'll have to remember. It escapes me currently, but that's
Piven and Cloven, I think it is. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That whole method is they just overwhelm the local governments, it causes the financial collapse. I mean, this is all part of the program, part of the system that they're putting in place.
Yep.
To own nothing and be happy eating bugs, under the New World Order, World Economic Forum, the globalist, one government, for the whole planet, all this stuff. This is their utopian vision that we're fighting against.
Throughout history, anytime you wanted to take down a nation, you would encourage illegal immigration. You would encourage them a run at the borders. And that would overwhelm the governments. It would overwhelm the systems. And we're seeing it in almost every big city here. We're seeing the systems completely overrun. We're going to talk about Hochul here in a few minutes and in New York. And she's saying, we're closed. We have no more room. You can't stop them. The government's pushing them in there. There was a story also this week, Bruce, I don't know if you're aware, but it's not just the people coming across the physical border, but we've also flown in over 200,000 migrants from way down in South America, flow them up over the border so you never see them and just dropped them and deposited them in cities all across America. I wonder how much those flights cost. How much does it cost to fly 200,000 people who certainly can't pay for their own flights? You know what I mean? How much money are we spending?
Money we don't have.
Yeah. Well, we're borrowing it from China and we're going to pay interest on it for an eternity. It looks like, if you can believe, there's another story. If you can believe the national deficit means anything, it's a fiat currency. So is it just numbers on a book or is it something real? Hard to know, right?
Yeah, it's the Cloward Piven, CLOWARD-Piven, PIVEN strategy to collapse America. Do a Google search on that. It'll blow your mind. That's exactly what's going on right now with our southern border and many of the other things that are happening around the country.
And remember, United States has always been that shining church on the hill, right? That every other country wanted to mimic and wanted to be like. Well, it's the one that they wanted to take down. And the only way to take it down is to erase the borders and make it so, there's no more this idea that the United States has these borders and this is our country. We're here to protect our borders. That's what our military is supposed to do. That's what our government's supposed to do. And neither one is taking any action except the National Guard in Texas, and they're being thwarted, as we saw this week. Border Patrol goes and cuts the wire, and all the migrants come across. Then the National Guard comes back and puts more of the wire up, and it's just like a cat and mouse game. It's like it's shocking to see Border Patrol in this role when they swore an oath to protect the border.
Well, it's that's why many of the people, doesn't matter your position, are guilty of not remembering the oath that they took. You had mentioned about America being a shining light on a hill. I believe it is Lewis who has stated in the past that America, or the idea of America, is the biggest psyop that there ever is. Is it Lewis who said that? That's his. I'm stealing his stuff, and he's in the waiting room. Actually, want to bring Lewis on and say hello? And
absolutely.
Found some more on his America being a psyop.
Yeah, let's have him tell us about that. All he has to do is unmute himself, and he's on the air with all the rest of us.
Hello, Senor Barros.
How are you there, Mr. Lewis? And I'll take off Bruce Poppy because that is not your name.
I actually wish that it was Cloven and Pippin, because not Cloward, because Cloven is a hoof. It means to split and divide, and it also happens to be the furthest extremity on Baphomet. That would have been really cool if it was actually Cloven instead of Cloward. I was hoping.
We were so close.
But it was Cloward, unfortunately.
Brother.
I do believe, boys, that America is the greatest psyop. And it's not that America is not wonderful, because if you look at the original founding fathers, the papers, the Bill of Rights, and the original Constitution, it is absolutely positioned to be the most amazing place on earth. Heaven on earth, in fact, if I would say that. Mm-hmm. But what happens is, of course, the cabal gets their dirty little mitts on everything wonderful. So we've been used as the greatest place to be, when in fact it is the greatest psyop. So I'll give you an example of that. Nowhere on earth do they poison more people through big pharma and big food than the United States. Not even close. There's some places is that even though they're extraordinarily cabal, their countries still don't allow in at least 20 different chemicals that we put in our food regularly, and we don't even announce to people. If that just tells you.
Yep.
Because the idea is they need that shining light on the hill. They need it because that attracts people, that gives people this hope that everything could be well. So I believe they've taken sections of the world and they've made choices. So their choice to hold down people of color in Africa, and I believe in South America, is through climate screwing and lack of food and lack of water in many places. And my belief is that because I think people of color naturally are in touch with their right brain and their pineal system a lot better than our Caucasian brothers. So what happens is, what better way to hold them down is have them literally have to squirm and fight for their next meal or water every single day of their life. Therefore, they're less effective at worrying about what the cabal is doing to them, because they're just trying to get their next meal. So what they've done, though, is you have to always have that carrot. So I believe they've used the United States as the carrot. So here we got everything you can imagine. In fact, a lot of it is given to us for free. So what they do, though, is to keep us from figuring out the bread and circus. We are the Colosseum in Rome, in my opinion. That is the United States. This is where sports are the most prevalent by far. Media is the most prevalent by far. Food is the most prevalent by far. We are the Colosseum. So we are the bread and circus that keeps people entertained. But the challenge is, so what do they do to stop us from figuring it out? That's why the United States, they poison our food more than any other country. The reason why we don't have term limits throughout at least our federal government, is because you have to keep the cabal powers that be in process. So they put out the Statue of Liberty, which is an indication of freedom, which is actually a monument to Lucifer. So these are the constant games they play. What's our prevalent language? English. Well, English is a language that is absolutely a concoction of Satanists, and they do spell casting. Everything that you're going to look at in Hollywood, in media, is spell casting. And it's a druidic philosophy that came from Ireland, and it all has been penetrated the United States on purpose. So they will continue to hold us up as the beacon of light while they're, in your backside. And that's what's going on here. Until we realize it, take a deep breath and say, okay, well, the founding fathers probably had it right. Masons or not, it looks like they had it right, right? Until we stop believing the story, we do need to make America great again. And I do not think Trump is talking about the 80s. I think he's talking about according to what the founding fathers have taught us. And President Trump has said so many times, and this is why I implore people to pay attention to this message. When he was inaugurated, he said, we have now given back our country to we the people. In South Carolina, he just said the 47th president of the United States is not Donald Trump. The 47th president of the United States will be we the people. Until we grasp that and people remember their oath, way to go, Bruce, and people remember their oath, we're not going to take our country back. But we will win. And I do believe the winds that are back, and God is pushing us forward right now and guiding us. But we, the people, must take action. I don't know what came over me. I didn't mean to take up all your time, guys. It's just when you asked me about America being the greatest psyop, I created that, I guess, saying or whatever you want to say, just because it really resonated with me.
Right. I mean, that's why it's perfectly applicable. The idea of America is where we wanted to be. The founding fathers, the way they had set it up, the way it was supposed to be, not what it has evolved into, and that's the problem. That's what we're facing here in America. I mean, there's a whole global situation that we need to be, aware of too. We just think, many people, think if Trump gets back into the White House officially, that's going to fix everything and everything's going to be puppy dogs and rainbows, and that's just not the case. There's so much evil and so much, and then it just gets me bent. People that sit around and it's all optics. They're all been taken care of. It's all a movie. You just sit back with your popcorn and watch it, and I call bullshit on that. I'm not seeing.
Right.
That does not resonate with me, at all. When you look at, just recently, I don't think many people, even in the truther community, have spent a lot of time digging and looking into, what was said, the different people that spoke, what their speeches were at this recent UN bullshit that went on over there. The Trilateral Commission, we know, that they're another secret type of organization that they're pulling strings behind the scenes. And they're saying that 2023 is year one of the New World Order. That's what they're in Asian, Indo-Pacific, Nikkei Asia, where's the article, Trilateral Commission, they had a big meeting over there in Delphi. All these, secret CEOs, foreign ministers, ambassadors, all these people, they were meeting in India. And they're talking, the whole thing is, 2023 is year one of the New World Order. So these guys, regardless of if it's optics or not, they're coming for us. And that's been their plan all along.
Right. I think there are elements of popcorn. So you and I are probably not completely on the same page, because I do think there is elements of a white hat and a black hat movement going on at the same time. I think there's pretty good proof of that. So I was going to post this. It's funny you'd bring this up. And so I would ask people, really, and I'll probably do a poll on this. It's very clear that the black hats are lying to us, and it's clear that the white hats are lying to us. The question is, are you okay with the white hats lying to us because they have an agenda that you trust? Or are you not okay with it, or you just want them to come completely clean? Because it's tough. But I do believe there is a popcorn element. So let me just state what I mean about that. I believe that the top tier of cabal have probably been taken out. And I'll show you, I'll demonstrate why. I believe the second tier maybe have been taken out also. The top tier are all the names you never know, by the way. The second tier would be the Soroses and so on and so forth. And the third tiers would probably be the Clintons and the Bushes and so on and so forth. And there could have been some of those that are taken out also. I think it's likely. The challenge, and I also think that's why you're hearing the beginning of the New World Order is 2023, even though it was supposed to start in 2030, because I think their plan has been accelerated because there is an actual battle going on. That does not mean we're in control. And that's the challenge that I have. I believe we control the chessboard possibly, but we're not in complete control. And we the people's always meant the people. The people need to take action. Trust the plan is we the people. So what I do believe has happened is, and I've said this many times, but I liken it to when the mafia was taken out in New York by Giuliani and his cronies. They took off the top tiers. And what they may not have predicted is it got a lot messier after that, because all the third, fourth, and fifth tiers were vying for position and making decisions that were not calculated. The beauty about the cabal before, guys, you kind of knew what they were going to do methodically all the time. You knew what to expect from them. Now there's a bunch of rats running around making really bad decisions and trying to grab power. I believe that's what Hawaii was all about, but I could be wrong. You know what I mean? So that type of stuff may not have happened before because it wasn't a controlled mechanism. But that war is harder now. So if I'm right, and I don't guarantee I am, but if I'm right, that means the federal level has probably been handled. But guess where all the work comes from? It's local, and that's why I said the micro takes care of the macro. They haven't gone in and replaced your mayor. I guarantee that. They haven't gone in and replaced your sheriffs. I'm evident of that. They haven't gone in and replaced your local politicians, for sure. They haven't gone and fixed your school boards, right? They haven't gone in probably and done anything to your county. And in some cases, they probably have the cabal running your state still. So if that's the case, that would indicate that we, the people, need to do the heavy lifting right now. So I do think there's an element of popcorn. And what I mean by that, for example, I believe we're in the phase, and I just wrote about this, of pick your side phase. And that's why I think you're seeing Travis Kelce come out flat out all over.
So we know it's just not our thing. It's a bigger battle, and we're in it, and it's going to take a while to get the upper hand here. But I do believe we're in the right direction. I do believe we are making progress on that front.
Well, I believe it was so as well. Yeah, I mean, you can definitely see the progress. I mean, especially for those people. I mean, the average, person that doesn't pay attention can go about living their life and not really see any type of situation other than the cost of everything going up, the inflation, the gas, the food. Their wages aren't keeping up with the cost of living and all these different things. That's what the normie type person who doesn't pay attention to the stuff like you and I and Lewis and all the other people out there do. We can see the little things. There was just we were crowing about how exciting it was out there in Shasta County where they got rid of the machines. Well, California just passed another law. Says, oh, sorry, you gotta have another. You gotta have machines. There was a whole big article about this law, AB something or other. What's it called? AB 969. 969. If you took the nines and flip them over, it's AB 666.
Yeah. I think we're going to find out if that has any teeth or not. And that's another test for us, because we already knew California was going to do that, by the way. I don't think constitutionally they can, because they have no authority over the counties, just like the feds don't have the authority over the states. And so we're going to find out what happens on that. But you're right, Bruce. That's exactly what's going on. And that's part of this war. People do not realize that's why it's a war. They're just, you think the cabal is just going to roll over? That they have 1,000 years of control, and they've got control of our minds, and that's the battlefield. Do we think that they're just going to say, or live in jail the rest of our life, we're good to go? And by the way, their game plan is a multi-generational game plan. So they are fighting for tomorrow, when unfortunately we could learn from that. We're fighting for today.
That's it. We can hardly figure out what we're gonna have for lunch or dinner tonight, and these guys are planning things out generations down the road, how things are gonna look. And so we're as far as us playing catch up, that's why I believe having the divine on our side has what's made this thing kind of accelerate to the point that it has here in 2023. I mean, this stuff has been going on for decades and decades and decades, but I mean, most of the populace that has become aware of the corruption, the evilness, and all this stuff has just come to light since essentially since Trump got in office in 2016. There's the whole woke a bunch of people up. So I mean, we're only a few years into this. After, like Lewis said, 1,000 years of control, they're just going to throw up their hands up and say, oh, you caught us. Sorry. Yeah, you can go back to having your normal sovereign lives. We'll just step back and then you can take over now. That's just not going to happen. They're going to fight to the very end. And it's going to get super ugly.
It will. And it is what it is. It's amazing that people are still waiting for Trump to ride in on his white Pegasus. He's done his work pretty much. And I mean, of course, there's more to be done, but I don't know how much he can say it's in our hands anymore before we realize it's in our hands, and now I get it here. Okay. So we are intrinsically lazy, especially in the United States, right? Because what we would like when I say everything's laid to us on a silver platter, people, oh no, it's so hard. Okay. Look, a person that lives in abject poverty in Chicago, right, still has 1 or 2 meals a day, a roof over their head, a smartphone in their hand, and cable TV. I'm just saying. And we cry about how hard it is. Oh, it's just so hard. Okay. Again, in Africa, in Middle Africa, they're lucky to get a shirt on their back, and generally those are donated T-shirts from some people like Americans, right? So we have to put this stuff in perspective. And the reason why I bring this up is because we were MK Ultra successfully. and things are very easy for us. I know people would want to argue with me, but maybe you need to look in the mirror and check yourself and your own paradigm, because things are easy for us if we're just looking to survive, right? In the United States, other places it's not. But if we're just looking for, basic survival, it is easy. So what happens is that we've been MK Ultra so much that we need things to be simple. So one program that we're creating that will just blow your mind, and this is what we're going to start teasing it next week, and we're going to release it live October 14th at 2 p.m. Eastern, will actually be a simple solution how we the people can easy two-step easy process, get involved, make a big difference like that. So, because I've realized that we are in a society where things need to be simple. They need to be Apple iPhone click, easy to use, right? So we're doing that. The messaging is going to be simple. The application will be simple, and it'll make a big difference, So, and like Robert always says, if you make something on the end simple, that means there's an astronomical work that goes in to making it simple. So I'm very, very, very excited what we're about ready to deliver. You guys know what it is because you signed those NDAs verbally. But I think it's really, really cool. But folks, I'm almost to the point is, if you don't think it's up to we the people, just get off my channel. Go somewhere else and suck on the teat of the hopium or the fear porn, whatever gets those chemicals riding in your body that you still need, right? There is great things out there. Wonderful. In fact, I've seen the future, I say, and I'm not joking around, but it's glorious. But sorry, it's going to take some effort to get there, but we are going to try to simplify it for you. And we have a program that we believe not only brings unity, it will take action at the same time. And it's a no-brainer, even for somebody like me with just 2 or 3 brain cells.
And Lewis, it's going to be announced when?
He'll be co-emceeing, introducing some of the speakers in the Trump voice. So we're excited to have Sean Faresh be joining us on this final, last Truth Tour ever, allegedly.
Right. Yep. And we just added in some more speakers. The lovely Kimberly Overton, which is just a warrior for nurses. She is amazing. She will be there in person. And some guy, most of you probably don't know him, but his name's Derek Johnson. He will also be there. He just confirmed with me today. And then Jim Price reached out. I'm supposed to call him back, so we'll see what if he's looking to be on there. So, and we may have 3 more that are actually incredible. Guys, you need to be there. This is the most amazing epic. It will be a grand finale. We should just call it the True Tour grand finale now, because that's what it's going to be.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll put a bunch of fireworks out there too. Oh shit! Did I make a commitment again? Okay.
Uh-oh.
I'm writing down. Look into fireworks.
Yeah, Lewis has got ideas, which means more work for us.
Yep, and screw the permit. Did I? No, I didn't say that. Okay. Awesome. There we go. I mean, this is going to be so fun.
And so, yeah, the tickets, one of the cool things, the lunch thing for the people getting the premier tickets, we're going to, if you remember the Dallas event, that fundraiser we did kind of a speed dating with the speakers. So during lunch, which is provided for the premier ticket holders, you get like 6, 8, 10 people at a table or whatever. Each of the speakers will sit at the tables, and after a period of time, the speakers will shift and move. So during the lunch period, people will get to spend some one-on-one time with each of the speakers during the lunch. It's going to be phenomenal, and all kinds of fun other surprises, up to and maybe not including fireworks, but yes.
Well, there'll be fireworks. We just don't know if they'll be in the sky or not.
Right.
Well, guys, a lot
Coolness.
of love. Do you have any questions for me before I take off? You're like, no, get the hell off my show.
Hey, careful. You're going to be back on Monday. with a whole new
will.
show, brand new show, and you won't be on your home office. I know you'll be somewhere
Yeah,
else.
I have to travel a little bit. It appears that traveling is a lot in my future. In fact, working on maybe just a spectacular documentary for next year that will blow people away. It'll make a lot of people happy, a lot of people frustrated, um, but it requires a lot of traveling, even worldwide traveling. So we'll see what happens in regards to if I can pull it off. But I will.
Awesome.
So it'll be neat. It'll be neat, guys. I appreciate you letting me on your show and taking up your time. You guys do a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful job. Everybody, make sure you support Robert and Bruce as much as you possibly can. They deserve it. Trust me. And I certainly don't offer them enough financially. So these are your
Lewis,
big
we're not
bad
counting.
volunteers.
We're doing this for we the people. You know, that's the goal. That's
I
why
know.
we're here. And
Still got to pay the bills, guys.
still got to
So,
pay the bills, but you know, we want to be able to be in a position where we look back and we say, well, we did something. You know, we don't want to look back with regret and say, well, we just sat on our butts and just took care of our own, and that was that. I don't think it's a time for that. I think it really is a time to step up and to do more than you would normally do, because if we don't, we're not getting through this. We're just not.
Yep,
So
absolutely. A lot of love for you too. Have a great weekend.
have a great weekend, Lewis. Love you too, and we'll see you back here Monday, 3 o'clock Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern for Lewis and the News. Thank you so much.
See you guys.
All right,
Bye-bye.
take care. Bruce, we should get back to immigration stuff. We have an interesting fellow that did something I think we all should be doing. He actually got himself down to the border in Eagle Pass, Texas. You know who I'm talking to. He said, a quote from him, "I hope people around the world engage in citizen journalism so we know what's truly happening and we get real-time, on-the-ground coverage." Who might we be talking about?
The person playing the role of Mr. Elon Musk.
The correct way. This portrait video. I've never been a fan of portrait video. It always has to be landscape. That's the way video is. But we all have these tools, and the microphones are great. The cameras are phenomenal. You can get great video. So when you see something, you always have a camera with you. When I went through college, I always had 2 cameras with me in case one didn't work. Right? Because I was a photography student. So, I had this on, and I walked up to a bank and it was in the middle of being robbed. And guess who got the first photos? Who got the photo in the front page of the Montreal Gazette? You know what I mean? It was just that kind of thing. I came upon fires sometimes before the fire department got there. I got the photos first. You never know where you're going to be. You never know what you're going to run to. Of course, I was thinking in those terms, but you and I, Bruce, we have these things with us. We could be at the Truth Tour event. We could meet someone, have a great conversation, pop out the camera, do a quick impromptu interview, get a little video clip to have to the show, to post on Telegram, to post wherever. So I encourage citizen journalism a lot. And you're seeing what James O'Keefe is doing. He actually has courses now on how to do undercover. And you can buy cameras from him, undercover cameras, where you can clip it on and nobody actually knows you actually have a camera on.
Yeah, right? He's doing some undercover work down in Maui, as I understand.
He did. He was in Maui last week, and he didn't get very far. They blocked him at every turn, but at least he got enough to give us a flavor of how desperate they are not to let anybody in that area. Yeah. There's a lot more to the Maui story. I mean, I haven't dropped it. I mean, I know I haven't talked about it in about a week or so, but there's just, there's more to talk about there. And as we get more pertinent information, it'd be worth sharing. All right, I want to share a couple of videos, Bruce, of Elon down there in Eagle Pass, Texas, because this was the scene of a lot of people coming across the border. So he's like, I'm tired of the media lying to me. Let's go see what's really going on. And you should be able to hear this audio, by the way. I don't know why you didn't hear the last one. It was so loud. He can't even use the phone. I don't know what's up there.
That was funny.
It was funny, wasn't it? Sorry about the echo, folks. I had a button pushed that should not have been pushed. My apologies for that.
I mean, yeah, he's right down there. I mean, it's showing it's being overwhelmed. It's the whole process. It's people like us going down there and making that showing the video. When we traveled to California, we stopped in El Paso, down by the border crossing there. Wasn't a lot going on at that point, but we didn't have time to spend, going up and down the different places. I would love to do that, but that's what we need to do. We need to expose everything as much as we can with video, audio, everything we can. We are the news right now, according to the 17 back channel intelligence. Mainstream media, nobody believes them anymore. I mean, most people don't believe them anymore.
It's interesting, in Bruce, in China, you ask the Chinese nationals there if they watch the media, and they go, why? It's all propaganda. They know. We're just learning that in this country that it's all propaganda and it's all staged. I mean, you could just look at the impeachment inquiry yesterday, how all the major networks didn't cover it. They hardly talked about it, right? It's like they black it completely out, and it's totally blacked out. And if I were to post that on Facebook, if I were to post that on Instagram, if I were to post that on YouTube, I get censored. I get cut off, right? But these are facts that are out there. This is information that's out there from people who are doing the research, doing the digging, and finding the information out. And all you hear from the government, oh, the border's totally secure. It's totally secure. It's not secure. It's wide open. Right?
Yeah, but you've proven it, showing the welded open doors. I mean, there is no border on the southern border, and we cannot believe them any longer. We have to stand up and say, no, we're not believing you. We're going to take matters into our own hands at some point. Hopefully, it becomes a legal and peaceful process. But this is becoming out of control and ridiculous.
I wonder, and I haven't seen it yet, but I wonder, Bruce, if enough of us were to go down to the border and were to put a stop to it, would the Border Patrol side with us or would they side with the illegals?
I would say that they would. I mean, from the videos I've seen of different people going down there trying to do stuff, they seem to side with the illegals. I mean, that's their orders through their chain of command.
Their mandate. Yeah, it's exactly what they've been told to do. They've been ordered to do that, and that's what they're doing. And they're going against the wishes of Texas, who's deployed their National Guard to the border, and they keep undermining them at every corner they can. And like Elon said, I think there's a second video here. If you look at the Border Patrol, what they're actually doing. Are you muted, Bruce? I'm not hearing you.
Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, no, they're not paying for it out of their own pockets. They're paying from their budget, which their budget is funded by our tax dollars. So yeah, you and I are paying for it.
Yep.
Or actually, I shouldn't say you and I should say the people that are still playing the game of paying the IRS.
Yeah, and it's really really sad to see that the Border Patrol is acting like, as I think Oscar Blue said, that it's like a Uber service for the illegals rather than doing their job, which is supposed to be protecting the border. Crazy.
Yep, that's why that's part of this whole plan, to show people the stuff. But I mean, and what's Trump said recently. He's going to deport more people than he's ever had when he's, back in the White House officially. I guess they know, like, allegedly, supposed to know where all these people are. And
they've all got cell phones, so they're trackable now, right? That's the idea. I have a theory. I've been having a problem with AT&T here for the past 3-4 weeks. I have a theory. I wonder if all these phones are actually on the AT&T network, and now you got 15 million other phones on there, and it's just buried the network. I don't know. I wonder.
And yeah, anything's possible.
Yep.
I mean, it's quite comical.
It is, and it's not going to stop anytime soon. We have to make more noise, and we've been too complacent as a society. We've been taking it, and there was a comment made by somebody in China, one of the politicians there in China, saying United States is just 8% of the world population, but we use 80% of the world's pharmaceutical drugs. So I'm wondering if we're just too drugged to respond, and not just the drugs, the pharmaceuticals, but also our food supply is poison, right? I stay away from commercial foods and processed foods, and stay away from the McDonald's and all the rest of that garbage, and eat mostly organic to stay away from the bad stuff. And maybe we're awake because of that. I don't know. It's just an interesting theory to think about.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you can't. I mean, that 88% of the population, 80% of the drugs. That's just a mind blowing number.
Yeah.
I've said for a very long time that's the biggest problem here in America is most people are over medicated. You got to take this pill for that. These doctors want to shove pills down your throat. Take this pill for that, this pill for that. You got side effects. They'll take this pill to help with that side effect. So you got these, people who are senior citizens have 10, 20, 30 medications. They don't have no idea what the hell they're taking.
They don't. They don't. And if you do the research on it, you're not going to get the full truth anyway. You're going to get some aberration thereof. And a lot of them won't even take the time because the doctor is in a position of authority. He's got the white coat. He's got the stethoscope. You believe what your doctor says. Your doctor tells you to do something, you do it. And you and I, Bruce, we know that that's not the truth. We've both been down that path, listened to the doctor, and it made us worse. Right? Yep. Okay, so what's going on in New York then with all this illegal immigration? Actually, you know what, Bruce? Let's take a little Neumi break before we go there because this is a story that I just want to really cover this one. You got your Neumi? I got my Neumi. I'm ready to go. NutraSwish.
I do.
Swish, baby, swish. So good. Oh, you got the spray. You're going to spray your... Oh, look at him go. This is why Bruce looks like he's 16.
I like to get up here on the dome, too, get the little hair going.
I love it.
Refreshing and cooling at the same time.
Yep. So let's talk about NutraSwish, what it is. It is a glutathione product, and glutathione is critical for your cells and critical for your liver to be able to detox and help you recover from oxidative stress, which we all have. We're all exposed to toxins and drugs and stuff in our food, stuff in our air. Your liver is responsible to get all that stuff out. And glutathione is what it needs. Sad part of glutathione, two things actually. Number one is as we age, we generate less and less of it, so we need more of it as a supplementation. The challenge with supplementing with it is supplements get... So you have two choices. Choice one, get it intravenously. Expensive, costly, who wants another needle? I've never believed better health through needles. I just don't believe that that's the way it goes. Or NutraSwish is the other option, and it is a very, very mild mint-flavored liquid. You just put it in your mouth, swish it around for about 2 minutes, and swallow the rest, and you're getting glutathione, nanoparticleized glutathione going right into the blood system under the tongue, sublingual. And they did something cool. They added a little bit of turmeric there as well, and you'll get the turmeric as well, which helps with inflammation. That's why your joint pain will go away. That's why you'll get better sleep because your liver's working properly. That's why your hair grows back, because one of the reasons you lose your hair is because the body's trying to detox. You take the toxins out, the hair grows back. And Bruce, you just look at his head of hair and you say, it's coming back, right? You were completely bald in San Diego. I can't believe it. This is fantastic.
Well, I shaved it down on purpose because if I let it grow out, it would look like, you call me patches. But, things are, it's coming in. It's starting to become a little unruly. I might actually have to visit a barber.
Oh, wow.
Before the Nashville event. So we'll see how things go.
All right. You're going to have to laugh because you're going to have to laugh along with me because you're going to see this a lot. She starts out by saying the upcoming Republican shutdown.
Yeah, that's definitely purposeful.
Yes,
Look
absolutely.
At every single mainstream media hack and all the pundits and all the people that are coming against the right, they're all labeling it the Republican shutdown. So that's the dog and pony show that happens every time. There is no difference between Republican and Democrat. They're all the same.
It's the hot potato, right? They throw it back and forth, throw it back and forth, throw it back and forth, and who's going to get the blame? Hochul said, I will be very clear about the values of New Yorkers. And she doesn't really speak for New Yorkers, by the way. I don't know what she's thinking. We have always been a place that has welcomed immigrants. So we'll always be that place. But it's also a question of capacity right now. Oh, there's a capacity. You're a sanctuary city, and you're worrying about capacity. You have 17 million in the 5 boroughs, and you're worried about capacity. We have been welcoming, we have been gracious, we have been supportive, but we have to point out the fact that to make sure that people coming across the border who think there are plentiful hotel rooms and services in New York City, we hit our capacity. So we're asking other areas to embrace these individuals.
They're full.
They're full. New York is full. Go away. They're full. Yeah, we're sold out here. There's no more hotel rooms. There's no more nothing. Get out. Wait a minute. You declared yourself a sanctuary city. That means you're not going to follow the rules set forth by the government. You're just going to do whatever you want to do. California, New York City. We've got Chicago. We've got all these cities that are like that. Okay. And now you have to actually be the sanctuary city. And you're saying, go somewhere else. We don't need you. We don't want your kind here.
Well, with what's going on there in New York, that recent Trump ruling of that stupid judge out there that, took away their business license and all these different things, because of false valuations on all these different stuff. So maybe New York is trying to, take over Trump Tower, and they're going to turn that into a migrant shelter.
Yep. Maybe they should. They're putting up tents all over the place. They've taken over really big, beautiful hotels there in New York, and they're putting them all up in there, and it's costing them millions of dollars a day for those hotel rooms. The hotels are being trashed, by the way. They're going to have to be completely renovated when this is over, if this ends. That I think a lot of people are asking me, Bruce. It's like, how does it end? How does it end? Well, it ends when these people who came here for a better life realize there isn't one, right? And the crime's going to go up like we saw in Philadelphia. We're going to see more and more of that kind of thing. These people are going to be hungry. They're going to need a place to sleep. And especially as it gets colder, it's going to be harder and harder, to defend against. You're going to see more and more of them, this kind of crimes coming up. So at some point, I would believe that they would turn around and head back. They try to get back home. I don't know how they're going to get back. The U.S. government's not going to carry them back. It's a long way from Venezuela and wherever else they're from, all these different countries down in South America and even China. They're coming from all over the world, right?
Yeah,
how do they get back?
Not just Mexico.
No, it's not. It's actually at the border. They're saying there's very few Mexicans now that are coming up.
That's correct.
We got them all. There's no more. I don't know. Anyone who wanted to come up probably came up by now. What's really happening? So there's a declaration of an emergency declaration has also been issued in Eagle Pass, Texas, after a surge of migrants invaded the southern border. The declaration was made by Eagle Pass Mayor Rolando Salinas after over 1,000 migrants crossed the border. Most of the migrants are coming from Venezuela by train, according to Fox's Bill Mulligan. No need to worry. The border is completely secure, according to the Biden White House. So this emergency declaration happened after Elon went down there and posted that video up there because they know it was going to get tens of millions of views.
Yeah.
Citizen journalism sometimes has an impact.
It does.
That's why, for all of you who are watching, we really appreciate you sharing this information. We know, people are sharing this on Facebook and sharing it everywhere. Wherever you have a following, if you share this out, we start to red pill more and more people. It's not just it's not about us. It's not about our egos. It's not about, making this show bigger. Of course, we want that too. But, really it's about red pilling more people because the more people who are aware, the more power we have as a collective to affect change. You're not going to get it from mainstream. Maybe a little bit now, Fox may be coming over, Newsmax may be coming over to our side, but they're nowhere where we are. We're much, much further into looking for the truth here than they are. So anything you can do, we appreciate. Thank you so much for sharing with your friends and followers. We really, really, really appreciate that. Okay.
Yeah, even if you just take the link to a certain news story that, is not real, crazy conspiratorial, but it kind of shows people, points them in a path, copying that link and texting it out to people. You might not have a following on your social media, but you can copy and send it to your friends and family. Hey, did you see this article about XYZ, whatever it is? Or have you seen Elon Musk down at the border? Send that link to that video out there. So, that every little bit helps.
And, on Telegram or a lot of these social networks, I do this in Gab a lot too. I've joined a lot of the big groups, the big conservative groups there with hundreds of thousands of people, and I'll just post in there. And what's really nice about that is you do end up with a lot of people responding and saying, yeah, thumbs up, this was great, this is wonderful, thank you for sharing. So you end up with a lot. You have to have no followers. You could have 0. And you just go on any of these. In Telegram, there's a lot of groups that you can post in, and you go in there and you just post your links and you post your comments and that kind of thing. Links, sometimes in Telegram, they don't want them, but you can certainly upload the videos and upload the photos directly, and that would be fine. And people will respond to it, and you'll be able to reach a lot of people. This is what a digital warrior really is. You say, I'm a digital warrior. Okay, great. How many things have you shared today? And people go, well, I don't really share a lot I don't post a lot on social media. Then you're not a digital warrior. You're a bystander. You're on the sidelines watching the game, but you're not actually participating in the game, right? So when that ball goes over the fence, they need a new ball. Where are you to give them the new ball, right? It's like you gotta be part of this somehow. This next story comes to us from our dear friend Carol Maureen.
Yeah, I've seen the pattern for sure in Europe, all over the place. I mean, Costa Rica. Who would have think, Costa Rica, would be that type of situation? But no, they've had a national emergency for immigration as well.
Listen to these numbers. This is from the Tico Times. This is via Carol Maureen Friesen, who sent me the link. The government of Costa Rica announced a state of national emergency on Tuesday in response to the dramatically increasing number of migrants crossing its southern border from Panama. That's the Darien Gap, right? We talked about that earlier last week. Authorities say get this number, 60,000 migrants entered in just the month of September, straining their limited resources. President Rodrigo Chavez declared the emergency measure during a press conference with officials from the National Emergency Commission and his administration. This decree will facilitate additional funding and operational capabilities to manage the influx of migrants, primarily extracontinental individuals aiming to reach the United States. Costa Rica. It's just another step.
It's not even a final destination there in Costa Rica. They're being assaulted and invaded just by people passing through. Their systems and everything is being strained just from people making the trek through Costa Rica. So, that just tells you, 60,000 in September. The numbers what we hear are far, far, far below the actual numbers. And the government numbers are bullshit. You can't believe anything. They talk about the getaways and the GOTS or the encounters. There's tens of millions of people that have come into the United States in the past 3 years. I mean, how long ago did we hear all this immigration, these DACA people? There were 11 million, and we heard that number forever, 11 million, 11 million, 11 million. It's probably closer to 30 to 50 million or more at this point. People come through.
Well, let's just suppose it was 11 million, Bruce, right? Before Biden opened up the border. Let's suppose it was 11 million. We'll use that number for argument's sake. They're saying now there's been 15 million, so you've doubled your illegal population in the last 2.5 years in this country. That's not a wake-up call. I don't know what is, because we were all upset about the 11 million. We said, what are we going to do with these people? They're not going back. They're not just going to hop on a plane and go back. Some of them are here. They've been here so long, they have no family anymore back wherever they came from.
Right? And it's not by accident either.
No.
This is all purposeful. Again, go look up that Cloward Piven strategy. That'll open your eyes to a lot of different things if you're not aware of that particular situation.
Yep. Yeah, so Carol's saying, cool, we showed it. Of course, Carol, anything you share with us, that it fits into our schedule, we'll definitely put it in. Thank you so much for being part of the show. And for all of you, you want to send us information. I'll put the email addresses up there again, just because people want to know where to send stuff to. Carol knows this. You guys should know it too. Robert at renegademedia.tv, and Bruce is Bruce Poppy at switch-usa.com. Take a screen grab, take a picture. Keep those email addresses handy. If you got something that is newsworthy, share it with us. We can't promise you we'll use it, but certainly it helps us, because I think the bulk of the time that we spend on these shows all week long is looking for the stories that we want to cover. And we sort through a lot. I mean, I was at least spent 4 hours today just looking for the little bits and pieces that I wanted to share with you guys today. It's quite a bit. Takes a lot of time. What have you got on your docket? You have something you want to share before we go on? Because I've got something that's going to go in a different direction.
Well, yeah. Well, this is a little bit of a different direction. I mean, most people who watch me and know music is a huge part of my life. It just happened today. It came out. Laura Trump did a cover of the Tom Petty song "I Won't Back Down." So you can get that on all the different music platforms. It's an article on Gateway Pundit. So you can see see that and talk about it. The other thing that and here that you play it, let's just play a couple seconds of it and see what happens. I don't know if I should stop. I got to stop share. and then share with audio because I didn't do that. Share sound. Do this one. It wants me to sign up. I don't want to do that right now. Anyway, you can get it. I wasn't prepared for that. So anyway, yeah, the Laura Trump song cover, go check it out. There was a huge, there's a billboard in New York that they censored her. They took her name and the name of the song off of it. They paid for this billboard out in New York. And they're screwing her over. They're censoring because it's a Trump. So yeah, we've got to support everybody who does these independent type music things. Laura Trump is a great one. Tom McDonald has a new song out with Tom Calhoun. That one hit number 1 on iTunes, number 3. And so here he is now. Laura Trump's being put out by the same thing, and they're trying like hell to keep this thing censored. Like you had mentioned, they're taking it off of all these different platforms. But if you want it, you can find it. I found that if I was logged into my Pandora account, I could play a little bit of it. But there's many places you can go and check it out. So yeah. I can't wait to hear it because I just found out about it. I haven't even heard her yet, so I'm not even. I would hope it's good.
You brought up the name of Ed Henry and Karen Turk. We don't know what happened to them. They just got taken off the air one day and they were gone, and nobody really knows what happened. Yeah,
there was a big upheaval. People were talking about Real America's Voice. It was their show, American Sunrise. They had a huge following. They was based out of Fort Lauderdale in Florida. There was some scuttlebutt, about a potential DUI that Ed Henry had, but that was bullshit. He had a flat tire. He did have some, smell of alcohol on him, but he wasn't drunk. He passed all the tests and everything like that. So that ended up going away. But that was kind of an odd move by Rav to have nix both of them, Ed and Karen both. So that was a very widely watched and highly sought after show. I watched it almost every morning.
Yeah, I was too. I was watching it at 6 a.m. here, and it was a very good show. The new show just isn't as good. It's very different now with the people they have replaced them with. Hard thing to do in television when you have a following and you have people who are connected to you. So I know that in this show I'm irreplaceable. Just saying. I'm teasing you guys. I could be replaced tomorrow. There's always another one out there, right? All right. Whew. All right. So another state of emergency. Are you noticing a pattern?
Subways are filling up with water.
6 inches of rain. I heard it was 6. That's a bigger number, but still, I mean, well, if it came down all at once kind of thing, that's a lot for that area. But the flooding doesn't make sense. That much flooding.
I don't know. Flash type flooding. And then I've seen videos of people walking down the stairs in the subway. There's this water rushing down the stairs like a waterfall. Yep. And they're just walking, going along their day like nothing's happened.
Well, that's the common New Yorker. New Yorkers don't nothing bothers them. When I lived in New York and worked there, it was exactly that. It's like you just head down, forward, just don't look at anybody, don't make eye contact, just go where you're going. Yeah.
Maybe they're flushing out, some of the stuff.
Well, that's the thing. We had the floods in Vegas too. When does Vegas get flooded?
It was flooded. It was quite comical. It was the last year of the event, the first Truth Tour, I think it was. After that event, we left the next day, and then the place flooded.
Yep.
We barely got out alive.
And then the floods we talked about last week in Libya, and all the rest of it is just like, it's really interesting to see. Cool, huh?
Very good. Yes, his buddy left him hanging.
He did.
He said, "Oh no, those ladies got Bibles. I'm out of here."
Don't hit me with that Bible, woman. Yeah.
No, we show care and compassion for other people, man. We can change the world.
We really can. And, that's what we try to do here. We try not to be just bashing the other side all the time. That's what they do. We don't do that. We take a look at it. We kind of make you think of it comically. It's kind of funny to see what they do. And then, we take a hard look at the stuff that's hard to look at. But then we ask, what can we do and how can we change it? How can we turn it around? And, that gives you sort of a different perspective on things because there's enough bad news out there. Guys don't need to come here to get bad news. You come here to get good news, to get inspired, and laugh a little bit because, hey, that's really, what we're here to do is to just lighten things up a little, and Bruce, you do a great job. Thank you for all that you do. Make this happen.
Appreciate it, yeah. It's serious stuff, but yeah, you gotta take everything with a grain of salt and, know that there's things that are way bigger than us at work here. So don't get too caught up in the daily doldrums of this operation. But keep looking forward, looking up with love and compassion. That's how we get through this thing.
Yep, exactly. Bruce, how do they keep in touch with you on Telegram?
Unpopular Viewpoint. You can search Telegram, Unpopular Viewpoint. I have a main channel that I post on, and then the chat. Anybody can post anything in the chat. So yeah, check it out. The Unpopular Viewpoint Telegram. You'll know it from the logo. I'm the only one. Haven't had any clone accounts yet. But Unpopular Viewpoint. Search it on Telegram. You'll find it. The link actually is in the description on my Rumble channel. I also have a Linktree link. I guess I can say that, Linktree link. We can click on the Linktree and see everything, all my social media, all that different stuff. And we're still working on getting the Unpopular Viewpoint website up and running here, hopefully very soon.
Awesome. And I can be found on Telegram as well at Renegade Media, and it's also in the description. Both of our Telegram links are there. You want to follow me, and I would encourage you to sign up for renegademedia.tv. Get signed up there as well so we can keep in touch via email because you never know. These platforms are here today, and they could be gone tomorrow. All right. Wow, what a week. I can't believe it's Friday already, Friday afternoon. I don't want to go. I'd like to stay here for another couple of hours. Is that okay with you guys? We stick around for a little bit. Bruce doesn't look too tired.
It's Friday again, and then Sunday's October 1st already. I can't believe it.
I know.
How fast things are going. I mean, before we know it, we're going to be in Nashville at Truth Tour number 77.
Yep.
Warriors in Action. Go to truthtour.net. Don't forget. You want to be there in person to meet some of these people. Derek, Lewis, Sean Faresh. I'm excited to meet him in person for the first time. Many of the other speakers I've already met and know very well. It's going to be epic, just like Lewis said. The grand finale of the Truth Tour will be October 14th. Be there.
Make sure you bring your business cards or something that you can share because the goal there isn't just to talk to the speakers. It's also to talk to the person to your left, to your right, and the person in front of you, the person behind you. That's how we build community. That's how we have power. And a lot of people say, I feel so alone. I can't talk about this stuff with anyone. I've decided to talk about this stuff with everyone, regardless of where they are, where they sit. I don't bash them if they don't believe what I believe. You're absolutely entitled to your beliefs, and you're allowed to share them. And I don't get upset. I'm not trying to indoctrinate, but don't be shy about it. Find people there who are like-minded. If you're feeling a little alienated with your family doesn't listen to you, and they're not on your side, and we get it. We're there too. We're not any different than you. We may approach it a little differently, and we've got great relationships. Like Bruce is someone I met at the Truth Tour, and so is Lewis. I met them both at the same Truth Tour in Las Vegas last year, about a year ago, and they've become lifelong friends. I mean, we get along famously, and you can see the chemistry between all of us and how we interact together and how we have so much fun. And that came out of that. And that's what I would encourage you to do if you're coming to this event live. Make sure you network. And those of you in the chat room are doing a great job of networking as well. Not a bad idea to, share your emails and connect with the people that are there. I know a lot of them, you don't really know the name. Buckshot 24. What's Buckshot 24? Who is it? Someday we'll find out. We'll get pictures, we'll get photos. I want to make a cheat sheet, a spreadsheet, so I can look at Buckshot 24 and I can say, oh, that's who he is. There's his email address. There's his phone number. So maybe we'll do that at some point because I think it'd be really cool to know who all these people are. But yes, connect with everyone. That's why we're doing these shows. We want to build that community. We want to make sure that you're not alone. You're not isolated, that we're here for you. And I know some people are going to say, oh, I'm going to miss you guys. You won't be on for 2 days. Bruce and I and Lewis and I promise that if something big were to happen, we'll be back sooner than Monday. Otherwise, we'll be back. Lewis in the News, 3 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific. Got that reversed. And we'll be back with a brand new show for you. And Lewis will be traveling, so it'll be interesting to see what he comes across, because sometimes when he's traveling, he brings stories that aren't necessarily in the news. Cool, huh?
Yeah.
You hungry?
I'm starved, man. My stomach thinks my throat's been cut.
I get it. All right, friends, thank you so much for watching. We appreciate you, as always. Appreciate you sharing and, liking and commenting and everything that you've been doing for us to support this show. We really appreciate it. We will see you back here Monday afternoon. Take care, everyone. Have a great weekend.